Last episode on The Outstanding Artist, you met the 11 contestants that are competing this season. In their very first mini challenge, they painted their overalls, their identity for this season. And Bree came out on top.
To be the winner, I was like totally in shock. I guess all the stress paid off in under an hour for my overalls, so hopefully the stress and the working through the opposite painting for me will pay off again.
The contestants just finished their very first main challenge, and you're about to see who comes out on top of the very first main challenge.
Okay, and this is Christina? Okay.
This painting has taken me by surprise. I really love her vision for it. I saw the source she was using, and right away, I know these are bumblebees. I like how she added the shadow. I would say I wish it had more details and she maybe spent more time on a particular area, because it's a little bit hard to know what it is. I get the feeling it's an aerial view, but it's really abstracted. So I can see she got joyful, partly cloudy, and she got earth, and I don't know. I would say it's a really abstract version of it, but based on sellability, or would I put this in my home? And for me, I love the colors. I like it.
That's funny, because maybe it's about preference, because I think the color is actually weak. I feel like it's juvenile, kind of like pink or purple and blue, and the lime green is a nice add, but I feel I don't know, the color story should be a little bit more, based on complements. It's kind of just all in one zone, green, blue, purple. And I wish that the clouds were a little more white. I do like the movement of it, and I think the composition is good, and I definitely get the aerial view part. I wish that the clouds were a little more evident about them actually being clouds, maybe some creamy white, and I think that would have helped add a complement in there, of the peach with the blue.
Yeah.
Andrea's, I really like it a lot. I think that river tree trunk thing, that whole interesting structure there, to me is really, really interesting. It draws my attention in right away, and then I noticed the giraffes.
I love it.
Afterwards with the shadows, and I think that is really well done. So I think she did a really good job. It's also crisp and clean, and looked like it didn't get muddy or anything. In Love, Stormy, and I think that I wouldn't have figured that out just looking at it, but now that I know that, I think she captured it really well. I think that the sort of color juxtaposition of those sort of soft, pinks and fleshy tones kind of look like love, and the flow of it, and then there's a storm. I really love the color palette, but I think that, and it's interesting, it's a unique color palette. You don't normally see this, everywhere, but I think it got a little bit muddy.
Yeah, that's my complaint too. But I think she did a great job on her theme, and the way she put the goats in there, the whole perspective. The only thing is
I would hang it on my wall. I kind of know that this is Bree's, and I know that she struggled with the color, and so hopefully that's not influencing what I'm saying, but I can kind of see that, and I really don't see how this is earth tone. I mean, there's some earth tones, but it's bright school bus yellow, almost fluorescent pink up in here, and then Cookie Monster blue. To me, I wouldn't call those earth tones. I think earth tones as, much more muted, and
right away I get earth tones. I mean, out of all the paintings, this has the most earth tones. I mean, I agree. Like, what I don't like or I love about this painting is just it seems kind of muddy in some areas and it needs like bright highlights. Also, her theme was rivers and roads, and
that's cool.
And the road is
she did great.
Well, I was gonna say the road I think should stand out more. It doesn't, like, it's hard to know that that's a road. And the river definitely feels like a river, but.
I totally get the rivers and roads thing. I guess it's just the color. Like, I don't think the palette is working. I would say if there's one thing really wrong with the palette, it would be the underpainting of the bright yellow and the bright orange. I think if she hadn't done that and she kept it muted or earth tone the whole time, it would have gone better. So Flower Fields Limited Palette Yellow. I would say that's an extremely creative interpretation of that, because I'm not seeing too much yellow or too much limited palette. I see, you know, purple, red, you know, yellow, lots of green. To me, that's not super limited. It's got a lot of variety of color, and I don't see fields of flowers at all. I see figurative tree. And it doesn't look like an aerial view, it looks like you're looking right at it. And I see hands, like to me, hands and figure and woman, feminine, that's the vibe I get. I don't feel like she followed the theme too closely.
Yeah, I think it's a very interpretive aerial view. Like, you have to really imagine, you have to be told, like, you would not on your own think, oh, it's an aerial view of flower fields, and that's basically what she had to accomplish. But I do like the uniqueness of it, and it's probably one of my favorite paintings here. It's just sad because it's not really with the theme, or the criteria, but I think she did a really good job, and it's like sellable. And theme is only one of the 5 categories, so on all the other categories, I think she'll score pretty good. Just, yeah.
Mountains, red and green, buffalo, thought-provoking. Well, if it's supposed to be red and green, I see more orange and green. I'm not feeling the red. And I think there's a very dominant muddy gray on it, which to me kind of...
Well, she got stormy. Yeah,
That's hard.
I know Roxanne is really good at detail work. Like, that's her strong suit, and maybe she just ran out of time. Like, it's probably a time constraint, but if she had more time, I think it would look a lot better. It just looks unfinished to me, and I don't really, like, with the theme, I don't really see the mountains, and I was kind of telling her, like, the mountains need to stand out, but...
Well, I think, like, she's from Arizona, and they look like Arizona mountains.
That's what she was,
and that's like an Arizona red, you know,
That's
which is
exactly
orange.
what she told me.
Yeah, so, okay, I get it. Like, thematically, I would say she's good, but if we just look at it as a whole, aerial view, yeah, but I think that brown and that gray, you know, the muddiness of it is just... Yeah, it needs clean, crisp colors. I'm glad that some of that underpainting is coming through, giving it some life. But whatever she put on top as far as oil is just, it's like she clearly mixed white with Payne's gray and black. And black and white should never be mixed together. Payne's gray and white shouldn't ever be mixed together, because you're mixing a tint and a shade. It's either tint or it's shade. So that would be, to me, a big miss.
Yeah, to make a good gray, I think, or to make clouds really stand out, she just needs more highlights. Yeah, like, I would say more highlights too, and really make it feel like clouds. So Esther got ocean, blue and orange, and butterflies, and edgy, and thunder and lightning.
Wow, that's hard.
Not sure about the edginess, but for all the other categories, I think she did a really good job.
I think that what would have made this a lot better is if she did just a blue ocean no like made up squiggly land.
Yeah, that's the
orange
hard
things.
part for me to
'Cause now
understand.
it's a globe with butterfly. To me, it looks like an illustration for, you know, like children around the world unite or something. Like it looks like it doesn't look like art, fine art. It looks more like a logo or something like that to me.
Harsh.
Is that harsh? I don't know. I feel like this is so well done. Like her brush strokes and the blue,
I do wish
the
there was
variety
less-
of blue.
I do wish there was
all
less
this
orange.
land makes it look like a globe instead of an aerial view of the ocean. And if the butterflies weren't cartoony, but they were like orange monarchs, then she'd have the orange and blue, and she'd have a dominant blue painting with, you know, orange monarchs that would really stand out. But these look very cartoony, so I don't want to take it too serious, you know? I mean, that's just my feeling on it. So Isaac has,
Romantic, rainfall, forest, golden purple, and Highland cow.
okay, Highland cow, check, check. Golden purple, check, check. Romantic, not. I mean, he's young.
That's hard.
What does he know
It's
about
really.
that?
I mean, he could have done 2 Highland cows, maybe like meeting each other.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That could be romance. I think like I wish he had more. I think he just needs more details. He should spend more time on getting things refined. I really like how he did the rain. I think that's probably my favorite part. Like it feels like abstract, cool rain, but the road and this whole area like that definitely needs more attention and like highlights. He needs highlights, and I think all his edges are kind of the same. So
I like the shapes and the composition and how the negative shapes kind of come in here. And I like the idea of something kind of carrying through edge to edge. I think if it looked more like a road, or we knew what we were looking at, that would be way better. But I do like that. I like the color of the purple and the gold. I think he did pretty well with that. But I think it's missing atmosphere. It's missing some parts of it to be, you know, to give it that depth of sort of atmosphere.
So desert, black and yellow, leopard, and then the feeling she had to give the mood was awestruck, rain and sunshine.
I think theme-wise, she did very well. And I think this is one of my favorite ones. You definitely know you're looking at a leopard. I think it's kind of surreal. You get the vibe that it's aerial view, you're looking from above, but it definitely is stylized. It's not representational, but I think that's okay. I think there's things that could be better, like the clouds could be like, it would be cool if she mixed styles, like maybe one was kind of like cartoony and outlined and one was a little more representational,
that'd be
just
cool.
so we knew, you know, she's stylizing on purpose, but they all kind of are same. And I think the color is very, the contrast is there. The color, it almost looks like honeycomb. Reminds me.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So I like it. I would put it on my wall, and it has this kind of innocent naiveness to it that I like. But I think the clouds could have been better, and scale wise, like they're all like she changed the scale in the mounds and the whatever those are.
This is small and that's big and.
All right, it just feels like this and this and this and this are all same. Like I would have liked it to have had a little more variety of, and they're all going this way.
So farmland, golden purple, dragonfly as a subject, peaceful, partly cloudy. I think you did pretty good on the theme. Maybe I wish the dragonfly was more in focus. But I kind of like how they're just going, you know, around the sun or like with the clouds, the wind. It's kind of a cool place to put them. I just think like this whole area could be maybe more highlights, maybe a little more detail, like to see that it's actually farmland. Like I would love to see like little wheat grains or, yeah. But I think the color is really good, and I think it's pretty sellable too.
Yeah, I think the color is very interesting with all that like mostly dominant purple with a pop of yellow. I think he did a great job there. And then this quirky, like out of the blue, bright turquoise. So I think the color is really strong. I think that the line work is weak. It's all kind of the same, and it should be sort of faded or softer to give us this feeling like it's further away. So I would have liked that. For some reason, up close, the sky looks kind of not quite as good as it looks from far away. When you look at it from far away, it's like glowing, and it has like this really beautiful quality to it. So I like this piece a lot from further back. When you get close on it, you can kind of see a little bit of the clunkiness.
Yeah, and also to make us to like create the effect that it is an aerial view and we're looking far away, the horizon line needs to be a lot more blurry and soft.
Yeah.
It's really harsh.
I don't mind it doesn't look, this part looks like an aerial view, but this part doesn't. So, but I don't mind it. Like I think you're right. Like I think it is on the sellable side. It's pretty good.
So Barb had energetic as the mood, cloudy, beach, tasteful rainbow was her color palette, and dancer. I think this is a really good painting, but with the color palette, you don't get like, oh, it's a rainbow, tasteful rainbow color palette. It's mostly, I would say, blues and purples. But just looking at the painting, not knowing the themes, I think it's one of the best ones here.
Yeah, and as far as skill is concerned, to pull that off on the fly, I think like that's pretty impressive. And it's very unique and very creative. Sellable. I think it's pretty sellable. I mean, I think people would like that.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think she did a really good job. I think
it's a very hard subject matter to pull
super
off.
difficult. Yeah. Maybe I would have liked, I think she did amazing here, and it's very dynamic and energetic, and it definitely has that. And I think she got one of the hardest topics to, I mean, I don't know what I would have done if I had that. That's really hard. I guess I get the feeling that these are buildings. I get that, but maybe a little more information, or it almost feels like this weird like contraption that's coming up from the earth, you know, to like almost like this dancers in like a video game or something. Like I don't know. I guess I would have liked them to feel more like buildings and less like teeth or something.
During the challenge, I actually had the luxury of listening to everyone, because I was on the audio and I was listening to every single person, and I could hear under their breath things that they were saying. I could hear grunting. I could hear all sorts of interesting sounds coming from everyone. And you know, one of the things that I noticed was that Bree it seemed like Bree and Alana were having sort of a hard time throughout the challenge. Just judging by the different things that they would say, like for example, Bree was talking about her color palette a lot, and I know that she really struggled with the different source material that she chose out of the bucket, because it was completely outside of her comfort zone. In fact, it was the opposite of her comfort zone, and so I know that was a big challenge for her. In the end though, I think she did a pretty good job. You know, I think she could have done better, but attitude wise, you know, it seemed like she had a really hard time, and then towards the end sort of kind of overcame that, or started to overcome that at least. Alana, I know, had a pretty tough time with her painting. Honestly, I don't know why, because I think her painting's really good, but she had a hard time with the figure and the subject matter that she had to paint.
I have a 68.2. It's about what I thought, so I'm good.
You didn't know what you were going to get, so there was that moment of just surprise, and then it was like, oh my gosh, how can I make this work? It was an aerial view, which I've never painted before. It had to be thought-provoking. I had to put buffalo in it and a storm, and I had to use red and green. So it was like a lot of things that were like rolling around in my head trying to figure out how I could make something beautiful out of that. But it worked.
Awesome. That's actually better than I was expecting, so that's great. Thank you.
I think I started to second guess myself when it wasn't coming together the way I had envisioned it in my mind. I guess I had seen like the aerial view of the flower fields being strong enough to convey that. Adding the woman in there, I kind of thought that would be a little more obvious that it was still from an aerial view, but that was my challenge, was to kind of combine the two. I honestly was coming back from lunch and thinking, I am completely going to change this. Like I was going to paint over the portrait and do something different.
Wow, 72.7, way better than 30 and 50. Both were my numbers that I wanted, so.
I know that like it's gonna get harder as we go, but I also feel like that might have been the hardest like challenge for me, because it wasn't like I had earth tones and maybe edgy or like stormy or something that would be more my style normally, that I could like just have one thing to work on. I was like working on two things that I like never use, and so I was definitely struggling to try to figure out like, what is a neutral with an earth tone, and how do I make this cool and unique and still me, but not how I paint, and then make it dreamy after rainfall. So it was definitely really hard.
72.7. Yeah, it's about what I thought.
I was kind of excited because it was like a color palette that I use pretty often. The rolling hills sounded, pretty easy. I did have a goat though, which I've never painted a goat before. About halfway through, I started really feeling the pressure when I realized that I had not planned out my perspective for the aerial view well. And I'm still not sure if it's exactly what was asked. I was close to breaking down.
Oh, 73.8. That's a lot better than I thought. I feel like I connected to the elements on my source, especially the giraffes, the waterfalls, the sun and the rain. The only thing I really did not like was the overcoming aspect of it. I thought it was going to turn out better in my head, but now looking back on my painting after I finished it, I feel like it didn't meet my expectations.
65.8. It's okay.
I think I was pretty much doing what I usually do.
Some of the people who really were in their element for this episode, Esther was definitely, she got orange and blue, which were her colors, and she got ocean, aerial view of an ocean, which, in her interview, she talked about flying over and constantly seeing the ocean from above.
I like the view, I like the theme because it's an ocean, and I fly a lot, so I like seeing the ocean from above, and that's exactly what I painted. So this whole theme was personal to me, so it makes it way easier to connect with the piece and work on it. So that was really fun.
I think that was a huge advantage for her going into this challenge, because having your color palette, I think, is one of the biggest things, and being connected to the subject matter, that's up there too. That's one of the most important things as well. And she just seemed really comfortable, despite the funny faces she was making while she was painting. I don't know if I should say that, but
challenges frustrates me sometimes. It gives me throwback to the art school, because I used to we always go for exams to get to the next year, or just to get enrolled, and you always have limited time for drawing exam, painting exam, composition exam, and it's you have to run into the room, grab your stuff,
find a position to paint live, and then that you like either get in or you're like out and you're like loser. So
77.5. Yay! It's about close to what I expected.
since we're creating our own land or a new world, I guess that was the theme, was a new world. I really got to create without a source in my head, and so that went really well. I normally paint in a lot of different colors. I was thinking, how is this going to work? And I'm not going to get to use all the colors that I normally like to use, and I actually don't use black or yellow a lot when I paint. So it was very challenging to stick to that 2-color palette, where some people got a little bit more color variation when they drew, but I actually ended up really liking how it turned out, and I like the challenge.
70.3. It's better than 50.
Experience with the challenge was surprisingly peaceful. I didn't really have too many problems. I just followed the directions and winged it.
Michael seemed to be really in his element with this painting, almost I think to maybe a minor fault, because there were some parts where I feel like he just took a lot of time away from his painting and didn't really fully utilize the time.
Always snacking.
I think he took at least a 30-minute break at one point, and then at another point he was gone for 10-15 minutes, or just was wandering around looking at other people's paintings. So, you know, I think that he was really comfortable, and from the very beginning he had a really strong start and a good vision for it.
I never knew that I liked painting farmlands, because the fields are just big blocks of color, and it was perfect for an abstract. So I kind of added a Van Gogh twist to the skyline, where it kind of like flowed into the big sun, and I got a lot of inspiration from Starry Night. So there's little hints of that in there.
There's a benefit and a drawback to the confidence that he had in his painting, because I think he could have spent a little bit more time on the details with his painting, but at the same time, you know, it's good that he felt really confident and comfortable that he could, you know, take his time with it.
I just made did with the time that I had, and tried to not rush myself and stress myself out over complicating images, and that's why I kind of stepped back and I was like, I'm just gonna leave it simple, less is more, don't want to overwork the painting, and it just made me feel good about how it turned out and everything.
69.8. Great, I think that's pretty close to what I was expecting.
The only thing that went through my mind was like, oh, limited palette, like that's good. I like that. That like made a limitation. And I first thought like, oh, I will just put a B shape. I'll just make a B shape in the circle and then have my perspective in the B shape. And I don't know, then I spent 45 minutes trying to come up with a plan, which really made me panic, because everyone was like, really started, and I had no idea. I was feeling really stuck. I didn't know how to incorporate earth and joyful earth. I couldn't do that, and then I threw the B idea out, and everyone was just, I feel like, was really like, theirs was already coming together and I was at 0. And I was really, really starting to panic. And I was like, you have to get it together. You just have to pick something.
Okay, 63.7. That's probably what I was thinking. I had some stuff. Cool. Usually my paintings focus on kind of power and dynamic contrast. The romantic feeling and like kind of flowy, dreamy atmospheres isn't usually my normal.
Romantic. That is such a tough mood to
I don't do romantic paintings, dude.
Yeah.
I do graffiti.
Yeah, I know.
I went with kind of a fall theme because I feel like with the rainfall in the forest, it helped me kind of create a romantic atmosphere without having to kind of change the way that I paint too much. and I think I was fairly successful in that. I don't love the way that kind of my aerial view of my forest translates. I do think if I were to revisit it and work it a little bit more, I could get it higher.
Here we go. 81.3. I'm happy.
When I first heard the challenge, I was freaking out. It's an aerial view that sounds so hard. But as soon as I got my words, I was very excited. Then it went into a nosedive. When it broke up at 2 hours, I was in trouble, I thought. So instead of lunch, I just sat and relaxed. I feel like I came back and okay, you love the figure, go for it. So I think that brought me back into a hopeful and positive attitude.
Barb had a really hard time with her mini challenge and painting her overalls, and honestly I was shocked when I saw them because I was like, what is that? But then with this challenge, she just completely surprised me. It was like the exact opposite. She chose something that was so difficult to do, a city and a beach, and she wasn't even required to paint a city, and she got perspective in there. She had all the right vanishing points. She incorporated the dancer in there perfectly, and it looked like it was a painting that she spent 12 hours on, but she did it in 4.
One of my words was energetic, and I was just so excited. Now I'm going to do all these great mark making, but then I chose perspective. And you got vanishing points, you got parallel lines, and it's so very mathematical that I found myself if I don't take my time, get into the left brain, but then be ready to jump back into the right brain with the mark making and the colors, I could lose it. So I just went ahead and did the left brain as fast as I could and then jumped into the right brain. So I was pretty happy by then.
I heard some of the artists talking about it, and I think that people really expect a lot out of her with this challenge because of her because of the results that she had.
I loved how Barb got in a huge amount of perspective, and she put in a city and she didn't have to put in a city. So the fact that she put in a city and a woman all together with her beach and her whole theme, I thought that was insane. I just looked at it and it was like, wow.
For me to finish a painting in 4 hours is unheard of. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Hardest part of the challenge was definitely figuring out the new balance for painting within the time constraint. Having to do a lot more work in acrylic and getting used to what that means for the rest of the show and what that's gonna mean for my process is something that I definitely had to learn on a curve a bit with this challenge.
Usually I do an abstract first and then build a source on top of that. And for some reason I really needed a source before moving forward. And I think that's important for when you have not enough time, not much time at all. I think moving forward, I will keep making sure, I think that I have a plan before I move ahead.
I think what I learned was to do a little more planning ahead of time, try to plan the best strategy. I don't know, just a little bit more time before just jumping in, because that was, I think, my downfall. Because I just spent too much time going the wrong way. So, yeah, just a little more planning.
The hardest part was just having the time. But for me, I just got a nice one. I just, I got my favorite color palette and the ocean view and butterflies, which I usually paint too, so it was okay.
I know that I just kind of got lucky this time with some all right sources, but who knows what'll happen in the next ones.
I feel like
even though I had a heat gun, it was still kind of hard to paint on wet, especially when it got to my oil stage. The most challenging part of my painting was the time crunch and painting wet on wet. And I feel like I did the best that I could with my options.
I think for me, like the biggest mistake was to look around the room and start seeing what everyone else was doing, because that started to I started to second guess myself.
Advice I would give somebody to paint an aerial painting is don't paint an aerial painting.
Okay, so you guys just received your scores for the very first main challenge. And as you guys know, the points will roll over from this challenge into the next challenge. So none of you are gonna be eliminated in this episode.
I do, if I remember correctly, did score the lowest for that challenge. So obviously nobody likes to be in the last spot, but I'm hoping with this one I can, rack up some higher points and keep myself in the competition.
It was better than I was expecting, actually, and I just want to do better in this next one.
We'll be combining 100 points from the first challenge and 100 points from the second challenge this episode, and the cumulative score of both of the first and the second episode will determine who is the first person eliminated from season 2.
So I was shooting for like at least 75, and I got a 73 or 72, I think. So I was in the same ballpark of where I thought I was gonna be.
I said 70. I was 69.8, I think. So I was 0.2 away from my guess. So I think that's pretty good.
So let's talk about this episode's mini challenge. So as you can see in front of you, there are 11 bundles of art supplies. So the theme of this month is push the boundaries. We want you guys to use one of these bundles of art supplies that's on the table, and using the different elements of art really push the boundaries. So you'll use one of the bundles in order to push the boundaries in a few of the different categories of the elements of art, and you guys will only have 30 minutes to complete this challenge. So you can paint anything you want. You'll be painting on mixed media paper, and it will be a very fun challenge. So in order of the scores that you received in the last challenge, you will be drawing a number out of a bucket, and the number that you get in that bucket will represent the art supply bundle that you get to use in this mini challenge.
I think it's about right. I wasn't happy with it. Did I do the aerial view? Yes. But I wasn't happy with my clouds. There were things that I was not happy with.
I was super excited that I placed second, and my hard work is paid off, and that made me feel really good. And it made me really excited to go forward in the next challenges.
As you know, it's luck of the draw. It could matter, it could not matter, the order in which you draw. So don't get too hung up on that.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Do we just paint anything with it?
Yeah, you can paint anything. You're just keeping in mind the different elements of art and using the art supply bundle that you receive and combining that with the different elements of art to create a painting in whatever style you want. So what you'll all be judged on is how well you utilize the materials that you receive. So if you get a bundle that is a little bit more limited, we'll keep that in mind when giving you your scores. So you want to push the boundaries of the different elements of art. So think about color, scale, line, perspective, texture, depth, value, contrast, pattern, movement, and balance. So most likely you won't have time to make a source, but if you choose to, you can utilize the 30 minutes that you have to paint in order to make a source, and that will count towards that.
So we can't use a source at all?
I have a question.
You can use your phone and make a source if you want, but you only have 30 minutes, so that's gonna play into whether or not you make a source.
And it's literally one brush, like you can't grab like a scraper or something.
It's only one brush, yeah, that's it.
One brush.
One implement. Can you use a palette knife instead of a brush, or does it have to be a brush?
One tool for laying down paint.
All I need is spray paint.
And we can't use the spray unless we get the spray.
The spray paint?
The spray bottle.
No, you can't. You're literally limited to what is on the table, plus one brush. But no spray bottles, No other art supplies, just what's on the table, one brush and water.
You could use water like with your brush for inks
Yeah.
and
You can use,
spray.
anybody can use water just to rinse their brush.
Yeah.
Do paper towels count as a tool?
If you use them to paint with, yes. Very legalistic. I just don't want to get voted off on a technicality.
get disqualified. It's better for you guys to ask now than to do it and then me get mad at you. Any
Can
other
we use
questions?
our hand if we
Your hand. That's a good question.
Don't ask any more questions because I need to push the
I
boundaries.
would say yes.
That's a push.
I think they could.
Yeah. Okay. You can use.
So we
your
can
hand.
use our face and like forearms.
I am not eating paint today.
Anything except for your toes.
Esther has a bunch of brushes she can use.
If you really want, you can use your hair. If you really want.
Like whip the paint.
That's good production.
Oh yeah. That'd be some good content, Esther.
If you want, you can use your hair. So.
Wow.
It's acrylics, you don't wash it.
If you do use your hair, let us know.
Yeah, we need to film that puppy.
I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. I feel like I done a little bit better though. It's just how I feel. You know what? Feelings are not always true. It's like yeah.
Let's get to drawing. So, first is Barbarita.
Going from the lowest score to the highest score was pretty exciting. It sort of validated that I am an artist, and to remember that you always have bad days, and that's might happen. You might get the oddest combination of things that you're supposed to do, and you're gonna bomb it. That doesn't make you a bad artist. That just makes you have some really bad options. And with a new day comes a new challenge and a new possibility. Let's see. Number 8. Am I crying or not? Am I crying?
Oh, it's right here.
Right there.
Oh,
That's good. That's a good spot.
Mamacita.
That's a whole. I mean, she's got markers and paints.
Okay, and then who got second? I believe it's Sawyer.
Number 1. I'm really happy about this. Okay, yay! I can do something with this.
Okay, and then next, I feel like, it was
Andrea, maybe?
Yeah, Andrea, yeah.
All right, Andrea.
Okay, nobody look in the bucket though, because you might be able to see what numbers.
Number 6.
Oh, spray paint and pastels.
Cool.
Right here.
6.
That's a good color combination. Wait.
That's 6.
Oh, that's 6. Because that's number 6.
Can you get clarification?
Oh, yeah, that's 9.
Underneath the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 9. Yeah,
So that's
this one? So this one?
No, that's 6. That's 9.
That's 9. Or no, 6, sorry.
Oh my god, you guys are confusing me.
So, and you also get the stencils as well.
Those are
Okay,
cool,
so then
Andrea.
it's Asia and Bree actually tied, so.
Rock, paper, scissors.
The last main challenge was definitely higher than I was expecting. I had gotten other feedback that like it wasn't earth tones and it was earth tones, and like so I was just all over the place and only wanted I was just like, give me half the points and like let me try to make it up the next challenge or something.
Same time. Close your eyes.
Is it rock, paper?
Oh, same time.
Same time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I love that you closed your eyes.
It helps. 6 or 9?
3.
I forget which one it was.
I don't even know where that 3 is a spray bottle and Karen dots.
Okay, let's go. Great.
That's a tough one.
Struggle's real.
You guys just wait. Okay.
Actually, that's
Something
really good
amazing will happen.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's a really good one actually, because you have a lot of different colors with it,
spray paint
and
is that?
it works as paint too.
that's
so.
Asia. Oh, thank you.
It's hard not to feel like that twinge, like, ooh, that hurts. Or, like just the little, I don't know, being human thing. when you're judged on any level about something you've created, but it's okay.
Okay, so then let's see, who is next? I think it's Michael. Yep.
Honestly, I don't even remember what my score was. Number 7. Woo! I think it was in the 70s from what I remember. I think it was like just 70. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Just 70. I'm fine with that. That's like above average.
Nice. I can make something happen.
7 and 5, man. That's
Okay, let's see. Yes. Wait, what did you get?
67.7.
Isn't
I
it,
think I'm
Christina?
68.
Roxanne 68.
4.
Number 4.
That's what it is?
Yeah, that's the one you want.
5.
Oh.
What is it?
Thanks.
Okay, I like it.
Okay. And then Roxanne.
No, I haven't gone yet.
I'm before you.
Oh, are you?
I'm
I thought-
68.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm excited. These are my colors.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Thank you.
I'm wanting spray paint, and I'm pretty much. I think I'm last
That'd be funny
actually.
if you get
so.
Number 2. Oh, yes! That's my favorite stencil. Yay!
One more chance.
I know.
It looks like it's gonna be.
It's all up to you,
50-50.
Esther. What do you want?
Take him out, Esther.
I want the acrylic.
You want the acrylics? How bad do you want the acrylics? Don't look. No looking.
Oh my gosh, I love all that.
Get the 11, Esther. Come on, make us both happy.
Nice. That's exciting.
All right, well, Isaac, you don't need to grab it. All you need to do is just take your acrylics.
Alrighty. I can work with acrylic, but thanks.
Can I have cups?
There's no spray paint.
At least you're charcoal. You like charcoal.
No, you can use caps.
Yeah. Not necessarily out of my element, but spray paint is like my blood.
Since we have 30 minutes, what if we start something, don't like it, and want to do another one? Not possible?
Yeah, if you start something you don't like it, feel free to grab another piece of paper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, but I'm gonna limit you guys to 2 pieces of paper.
Great.
Okay? So if you don't like your first thing and you want to grab another one, then that's the final. Hey everyone, so this is your second mini challenge. Keep in mind that all of your points from the mini challenge may or may not really count towards your success on the show towards the end of the season because, as you know, one person will be brought back onto the show. They will be the redeemed artist at the very end of the season, one of the people who had voted out. So, as you're painting, keep that in mind. This is very important, and you will be judged out of 30 points. Once again, you have 30 minutes to complete your painting. You must use all of the supplies that you have. You can only use the brush that you have chosen to use, and no other things to lay down paint besides your hand or your body. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
Here we go.
All of my paints are opaque.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
I think you guys did a good job. I feel like you're very much pushing our limits of what we're capable of and what we think we're capable of.
Not my favorite color palette. My least favorite color palette. Actually, it's not even a color palette what I got.
It's like just such a bunch of random stuff.
Contrast, value, line, perspective, color, depth, texture, scale, pattern, movement, and balance. These are the elements of art that you should be focusing on, or choosing one to focus on, or two, or three. You all have limited supplies, sometimes limitations. Create success.
This doesn't work.
Oh no, we'll find you a replacement. Okay. This is not the same, but I think you might like it more.
Okay.
I don't think we have the same
I think
color.
it's great. Thank you.
Something just to take with me is just to really do my best each time. Like, try not to let the clock or the host walking around saying stuff, get me off course. But just to try to, dig deep and go with my gut and just do my best.
There are many different approaches that you can use. Some of you are being methodical, planning out, strategizing. Some of you are diving right in. In this episode, you will find out your strengths and your weaknesses. This is just the beginning. You will be pushed to your boundaries. If you don't know what your boundaries are, by the end of this, you will. Five minutes has elapsed already.
What?
Oh yeah.
Christina has barely just started. Will her planning pay off? I know everyone loves my commentary. Thank you.
No, Jake. Thank you. As I'm sure you can tell, I wasn't upset, but I was hoping to get spray paint, and I didn't. I got acrylics. So I tried to not really do it in a traditional way.
These mini challenges may make or break you in this competition.
Oh, wow. No pressure, though.
The element of art that you've chosen to push the envelope with should be obvious. If it is not, then you have not succeeded.
I think it says cap.
You didn't use the cap?
No, I think it's the cap.
Oh, it's just the
I'm
cap.
just moving this cap around and it seems to work.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Before you use that color, do you want the other color?
No.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it is the cat.
I'm feeling great today. Feeling really good today. I felt like I was a little bit negative yesterday and I just needed to slap myself up and say, have a good attitude no matter what. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot better today.
It is a little strange having every move that you do judged. And art, there's a lot of things in art that are subjective, and it's, art is art. So having things judged for elements or colors or whatever it may be can be challenging, and there's a lot of pressure.
Lots of strategy going into this. Andrea using her hand as a stencil. You were disqualified. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow. It scared me.
No, that's good. Very smart. "10 minutes has elapsed. You only have 20 minutes remaining." The time is a huge factor. Are you using all of your supplies? Are you pushing the boundaries?
Oh, that looks sick.
Dropped exactly where I wanted it to drop. Oh yeah, I feel like I've learned that I can paint way faster if I have a time restraint. When it's like you got 30 minutes to paint something, it's like okay, now the engine's going and I'm just going crazy.
Balance, movement, pattern, scale, texture, depth, color, perspective, line, value, and contrast.
With so many artists around and so much inspiration, it's hard to just focus on one thing.
It's hard to get obviously the Caran d'Ache crowns is like a texture, but it's hard to get another, I have my brush, but that only wets it down. So it was just trying to play with kind of watercolory drawings.
I'm trying to figure out every way that I feel like I can use this stuff.
You're trying to figure what out?
Like to push boundaries or whatever, just kind of every way that I can apply this onto the piece. Jake, to clarify, back of this, no-go?
You can
brush,
only
right?
use
Yep.
your brush or your hands to apply paint.
Cool.
You can use the back of your brush, that still counts.
Yep.
But that is it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
My bad.
Splash zone.
Payback is sweet.
In this episode, you want to hone in on your strengths. Use your strengths to your advantage.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If I started over, you can't just you can't go back to the one that you did before if you liked it better after you start a new one. It's like once you start a new one, it's like this is eliminated.
That's a good question. Yes, these things I do not think of. You can go back to it, but you will only be judged on one of them. So
Okay.
you'll have to ultimately choose the one that you want. Christina deciding to start on a second piece with only 11 minutes remaining.
That's great. It's great.
Are there any other caps? Because I can't get this.
There's a bucket of caps right here.
Okay.
Right here.
Now I forget what I was doing.
Jake, you gave me a broken water bottle. It keeps falling here when I hold it. Here, babe.
It keeps falling?
It's fine. Like it keeps coming off.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
it's,
yeah, the top of it is, yeah.
It's all good.
Only the supplies you're given.
I know.
Am I just not good at rotating? I can't figure out why these keep clogging. Where is this?
I need to steal some of Michael's supplies.
Yeah, I wish I had some of your supplies.
Push the boundaries. Subject to interpretation. Is anybody thinking right about now that they want to start timing themselves when they paint?
That's a good idea. It's kind of amazing, what comes out in 30 minutes, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
7 minutes remaining.
Like literally just covered in paint. That is what an artist's hands look like, you know what I mean?
What boundaries are you pushing?
All of them.
Comfort.
Comfort, the core element of art.
The core element.
Let's just say I'm glad I didn't use my new Milan brushes to do that.
Christina, working on 2 pieces at once. Which one?
I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you.
This challenge could be the challenge that saves you in the end.
Oh
Oh my lord, we're all in trouble. $25,000 on the line.
I feel like we were not informed of the psychological elements that would be coming into play during these challenges.
Yeah, where's the therapist on staff?
Yeah, we all made each other.
I am the therapist on staff.
No overworking over here. We're done with 3 minutes to spare. I mean, with 3 colors and 1 brush.
Time, Jake? Time?
3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
Thank you.
The pressure is building. The time is running out.
The heart is sinking. The heart is sinking.
Don't forget to keep in mind one of the core elements of art that is basically unchanging, and that is composition.
The last 2 minutes.
I want to peel my tape, but should I probably wait till it's dry?
Sorry? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Peel tape? Are you good?
Do I want to peel it now, or will it just make a mess?
It's up to you. You want to peel it?
Does it have to be peeled before the end of the challenge? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, no. You can peel tape after it's over.
When it's dry, that would be best.
Yeah. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Final touches. Last minute decisions. If you guys think this is tough, just wait. Just wait. This episode will push you to your limits. One minute and 30 seconds remaining.
Some dramatic whistling over there.
One minute. This is your moment.
It doesn't feel like my moment.
Hi. A lot can happen in 30 seconds. That's all that you have left.
It's challenging to accept some of the scores, perhaps, or just even questioning, well, who are you? And have you ever been in front of a camera painting?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down.
Oh my God.
That's terrible.
Dang, now
How does everyone feel?
Stressed.
I'm really upset.
Stress would be accurate.
Anybody feel good? Michael feels good. Alana feels good.
I feel okay.
I like it. Andre feels good. Anyone else feel good?
I feel good. I'm right back at sucking.
Oh, wow. A lot of them did really good.
Well, Barb did really good. And especially for the materials she had, she couldn't really get, that much contrast in there, but we definitely know it's a dancer. There's a lot of variety in her brush strokes. I think it's really good for 30 minutes.
Yeah, really good. I think she did a great job with color and proportion of color with just, you know, a little bit of that yellow and the pink and mostly the blues. I think that her sort of abstract figure is also really well done.
Yeah.
And you know, she pushed the limits, you know, in line, and also like how she played with femininity and the shapes and the patterns. So I think it's a really cool piece.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her high marks for sure. So what do you think about this one?
I think it's kind of cool. I just think like he only had 3 inks, so he did create a lot of contrast with just 3 colors.
He did save some white very strategically. That wasn't easy.
Yeah, maybe it's just the subject matter I'm not crazy about. It's
bottom left looks like a big blender.
It's a little bit dark.
Yeah.
But
also I want to see Michael like try something besides eyeballs. You know, it's like a comfort zone. But yeah, he did have pretty limited stuff to use.
I really love Sawyer's, and she had 5 acrylics and 1 brush. So I don't know, I think this is really cool for just having 30 minutes, and she has a good texture, good movement, variety and scale. The color's really great.
She didn't have white either, which is, you know, she utilized the white of the paper pretty well.
And color as highlights.
Yeah, and using thin paint for lower value. Sawyer has so far, I know we're just getting going, but so far she's been pretty consistently at the top. And so that's really good.
Yeah, I'm excited for her.
Isaac had some pretty tough colors there. Again, he didn't have white.
Definitely not his colors or comfort zone.
No,
but
not his comfort
really
zone.
Cool, very interesting. I really like this piece, but I do wish his focal point wasn't straight in the middle. It's kind of uncomfortable there. Like I wish, you know, it was in a different spot. So that's kind of my only thing about this painting, but.
Yeah, I like how he kind of used, you know, the texture and made, I mean, it could be decorative, but at the same time, because of the brush strokes around it, it just makes it interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'm actually very happy with what Esther did, because she's kind of surprised me. Like so far, I don't think her stuff's been, you know, really as good as she can do. And I think this is actually very well done.
Especially for her materials.
Yeah, and to use the choice of using all that green as something really dominant, you know, is, I think really works, because that's like a very strange green, and using the blue.
Yeah, this is a very cool painting.
Yeah,
she did
super
a good
cool.
job. We know Roxanne's a very good artist,
but you almost can't tell that by this.
No,
piece.
I don't know what she was thinking with this one.
I'm wondering if she got like just lost, and
it looks like she was in her left brain.
Yeah, I mean, okay, she likes control, and she had a material that, you know, you have a lot of control with, and she's a very good drawer, so I would think she would draw something, and you know,
like
she loves to do birds. I would think she would draw a bird, you know, real sketchy, and then use it like watercolor. She also loves watercolor pencils, so it's almost like she lost who she is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's very good at all. So.
Alana's also surprised me because, I mean, she loves using spray paint, and I think with, you know, utilizing the tape differently, she could have done some really cool stuff with it, but it also feels like she got lost and didn't know what to do and just.
Yeah, I wonder if they're sort of, you know.
A vortex.
Yeah, they should be broken up or something, because they're almost like feeding off each other, and neither one are, I think, painting how they normally would paint. They're both extremely strong artists, and I would think very strong competitors in this, and both have been kind of consistently below what I know they can do. So I don't know if it's allowed, but I would try to break them up or something. And you know, Alana should have used the tape in a more creative way.
Yeah.
Maybe tore it and she could have drawn like a figure with it, and there's so many things she could have done with the tape, but she just did something very basic and quick, you know.
Bree, I think, did a really good job with the materials she had. She just had carandash, and I love how the flowers and the lips stand out, and she has all these different mark making patterns. I think she did a good job with variety of line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the color, and I think having the black, like the black polka dots, and it has this loose vibe to it, effortless, but also looks like something cool, like you would want to put on your wall. Almost like a little kid drawing, but edgy, and you know the person actually knows how to draw.
Yeah, very cool. Asia's is one of my top favorites.
Yeah.
I really love this one.
She did an excellent job.
And I know these are her materials she loves to use, so yeah, like she had it easy, I think.
Yeah, she did. I think she was definitely in her comfort zone, but she did really well. So, you know, she also is pretty versatile, so almost any of the materials she would have got, I think she would have done well with.
I like what's happening with the tape here, but I think she could have kind of, with the colors she got, I know they're kind of difficult colors, but she could have had, I think, a stronger color story happening. It kind of feels like the same amount of colors everywhere, and so there's not like really a focal point or I wish there was something that like carried through it. It's just like a bunch of small things kind of all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think she used the tape more creative than Elena did, but I still think both of them really missed what they could have done with the tape. I mean, you can draw with it, you can do all kinds of cool things with it, and it all has it looks like a good beginning, but not a finished piece.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's cool parts. It's a beginning, but it certainly isn't a middle or an end.
I'm surprised that it took her 30 minutes to do that.
Well, I think she did 2, and then this is the one that she spent like 10 minutes on. And then the other one, though, isn't. I feel like, she did have it tough. She had 3 inks, and that was it. But I think she could have used her brush and drawn something with it.
Totally, yeah. Or you could cover an area, you can use water and like water them down, get it like a light area, flick some polka dots on it. I mean, she could have, if she loves ink, she would know how to, you know, fill the paper.
Yeah,
so
and it just isn't a good composition either, and everything's about the same scale, so.
I mean, this green is a little bright. It looks like she just, I don't know, put it on there, but this green is really cool. Like, when you mix
it has cool parts. It's just not complete.
Yeah.
Okay, Esther. Out of 30 points, Esther, you received a 21.
The most earthy tones, colors, just not my thing. So I think I done well with what I had. That's how I feel like about it.
Isaac.
Here we go.
Out of 30 points, you received a 19.5.
I really tried to go as far as I could think of in just a 30-minute time frame of like the different ways I could push acrylic paint. I do think my composition's a little weird. I feel like I could have had some more shadow and stuff from maybe mixing color a little bit more. I think I did a lot of it kind of too like just clear to the colors I ended up with without doing a lot of mixing on my palette. But other than that, I'm happy with how mine turned out.
Sawyer, out of 30 points, in the winner of this mini challenge, you've received 27 points.
Whoa! I think everyone did really good. I think it went well for me because I'm just pretty quick on my feet, and I think you can definitely tell what my painting is. I really tried to implement pattern into my piece, and I think that went well for me during the time crunch and limited supplies. I think it would be a sellable piece, honestly. If I spent like 30 more minutes on it, like that could be a sellable piece. It was a very pretty bouquet of flowers, and there were some abstract elements.
Michael, out of 30 points, you received 15.5.
Nice. I really liked the last mini challenge. I had no idea what to do, so I looked at my arm, and I just painted this. I was like, this looks cool. Might as well do that.
Barb, out of 30 points, you received a 23.5.
I was excited. I was the last one to grab it, and I saw all those
those tools. So I got really excited. Oh, I can make lots of marks. I can do it. And then as I was working on it, I'm like, I have no dark colors. What am I going to do for contrast? How am I going to make this really pop? Like, you don't have time to double think or get negative. So I just went for it. Last minute, grabbed a tube of paint and just scribbled on it. And so I feel pretty good.
Christina, out of 30 points, you received a 10.
I'm clapping for myself. I don't know. I mean, you're watching. Whoever's watching, you saw that I made 2 paintings. I feel like the first painting I made that I'm not using pushed the boundaries more. And so what's being judged potentially, I feel a little bit like my stomach has dropped thinking about it.
Okay, Andrea, out of 30 points, you received a 17.5.
Yay! When I'm painting at home, you don't really have people watching your every move and seeing how the judges react to your art. How they perceive my art is different from how I may see it.
Asia, out of 30 points, you received a 25.5, second place.
I wish I could have done more, like after I looked around the room when it was all over, and I just felt like I wish I could have done more. But I know that I tried my best, and I just got to it and did what I could in the time that I had, so I think that's all that matters.
Bree, out of 30 points, you got a 23.
I really wanted to go in and do some like crazy marks and even like kind of pattern it up a little. But then I was like, okay, what can I put in like the amount of time I had? And I didn't want to only have a bunch of scribbles. So I was like, let me try to put in some other things. So I guess it went okay.
Alana, out of 30 points, you got a 12.5.
Mini challenge was a little tricky because I don't paint a whole painting in spray paint, so that was, for me, I felt like instantly I had to kill the white, whereas in hindsight, I kind of could have taken a different route and it maybe turned out a little better.
Here's a real womp womp.
And Roxanne, out of 30 points, you received a 9.5.
And that was generous. Thank you for the mercy. Oh, it's awful.
It's just a tough day because I got some bad news about my mom, so it's just tough. So I'm trying to hold it all together, but it's not easy. And I probably made the ugliest painting I've ever made this morning, which is kind of good because now ugly is out of the way and I can just go on.
As I mentioned before, this challenge is all about pushing the boundaries of art. And so the main challenge will really push you to your limits. And so in order to do that, you must understand all 11 elements of art. And so we have picked out, as you can see, a bucket. We've filled up this bucket full of the different elements of art. And so each of you will choose one of these 11 elements, and that will be the main focus that you must push the boundaries with. That will be your sole focus. So for this main challenge, you can use any materials that you want, but you are required to use all of the materials that you used in the mini challenge and make that a focus of your main piece. Here with us are Ellie and Dimitra to explain to you guys more in detail the different elements of art and how to incorporate that into your pieces today.
So there's 7 elements of art, as you know, but we kind of improvise, and because there's 11 of you, we chose 11 elements of art, and so we kind of added 4 of our own in there, and it makes it pretty challenging. So the first one is contrast.
So really when you're thinking about contrast, there's all kinds of different types of contrast. There's contrast of color, there's thematic contrast, there's contrast of, line, value. So don't just think contrast is value. You could have blurry edges versus graphic edges. Any kind of juxtaposition or contrast is good. Yeah.
Can you give an example of a juxtaposition of theme?
Yeah, like if you have a baby bunny next to a vampire.
Got it.
That would be extreme juxtaposition.
And remember, in all of the elements of art, you want variety. Variety is super duper important. So for the next one, value is again the value scale 1 through 10, 1 being light, 10 being very dark. And value, you can also use do your whole painting in lower value or do your whole painting in higher value and use it that way. But what we want to see is that you really thought about value, and it could be in terms of light, it could be thematic, something kind of emerging out of darkness, however you want to interpret that.
Like, is value just like on the value scale?
50 Shades of Grey.
Not quite 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, so value, you know what value is. It's the value scale.
Like the lightest lights and the darkest darks.
Right, but you can also have thematic value, right? Like if you think about Rembrandt or Caravaggio, thinking about light is going to give you an edge in value. I think you could also interpret value as a very low contrast painting that has the whole thing is painted, let's say, in a 1 to 4 value scale, and then you have a pop of 9 and 10 somewhere in a very small proportion. That's kind of pushing the boundaries of value, or the other way around. Like a white on white pushes the boundaries of value, a black on black pushes the boundaries of value also, because you're on the other end of the spectrum as far as value. But that isn't necessarily how you have to do it.
Okay.
But I think when we look at it, we want to be impressed by the light, impressed by, your use of value in some way.
Okay, thank you.
So for the next one, line, it's really important that line has a lot of variety to it. Just because a piece has line and line is evident in it, if it's all the same, it doesn't make it sophisticated. It's not high quality. It doesn't mean that you're pushing the boundaries for the elements of art. So in order to push the boundaries for line, you want thin lines, thick lines, heavy lines, scratched in lines, textural lines, lines using negative shape. There's a lot of different ways that you can interpret line.
And guys, just so you know, remember these things because they're not going to be here while you're doing your main challenge. Yeah. So,
can I record it?
If you want, sure.
Voice recording.
If you want to record it, go ahead.
Then you can play it back for us.
So the next one we have is perspective, and that's one that we threw in there. So perspective can also be, just in the theme that you choose, your unique perspective. Just give the idea to the viewer that's, looking at your painting that you are really pushing the boundaries of perspective. You can have things that are foreshortened or, of course, just traditional perspective with the vanishing point, but really it's pretty open-ended.
You could have multiple perspectives even.
So the next one is color. So this one is really probably a really fun, easy one, but you want to have a lot of variety in your color, and also it doesn't mean that you have to have super bright color. You can have muted colors, but I think to push the boundaries with color, you have to have a unique edge to them. So you want to choose a color palette that's really unique that people don't usually see. Depth is another traditional element of art, and I think depth is very important. You want to have really good depth in a painting. You want to have some things that feel really far away, blurry, atmospheric, and then you want things in the foreground to be full of contrast, sharp edges. So you want to have, painting really pulling away towards you and coming towards you.
Yeah, multiple layers of depth
I would
at
just,
least.
Like, no matter what element you get, try to like incorporate a few of them at least.
But with that, the main focus of this challenge is when you draw one out, that is
The main
what
focus.
you're focusing on.
We want to incorporate all of them, but we need to push the boundaries in the one we draw.
Exactly. Like a successful piece will do all of these
Exactly,
things well.
exactly, yeah.
But the one that you draw is the one that you need to really focus on and push the boundaries with.
Okay, so texture. Texture can be visual texture, meaning you could take like an alcohol spray bottle and create, visual texture. That could be drips, that could be all kinds of things like that. You can have subtractive texture, like scratch into your painting. Just make sure when you are doing texture that it's pleasing texture, right? Because sellability is one of the things you'll be judged on. So you don't want like texture where nobody wants to touch it. You want, good texture. You can also have thematic texture, right? Like soft bunnies, feathers, shiny objects, things like that. Scale is obviously, how big or small your objects are. You want variety. You don't want everything to be the same scale. Also, you can play with scale thematically. Like you could have, a tiny little dancer on a giant flower petal. Pattern is, obviously pattern, don't be contrived, don't just get, a stencil and some spray paint and go, pattern. Some patterns you want to make up, some can be really graphic and accurate, and other patterns can be, kind of loose and organic. You can have patterns that kind of pull on, auditory things, like it sounds like rhythm, or, laying down brush strokes in a specific way could really, be pattern.
So movement is another element that we put in there, and that one is pretty fun, open-ended, but you just basically, you want your painting to be full of movement in any way possible, have variety with it. Your object can, be in movement, in motion. You can have things that are blurry. You can have things that are repeated sequentially, so it feels like it's, in movement or it's changing or. So this one's really open-ended and pretty cool.
Like Barb's mini challenge had movement to it. Not only thematically, the dancer was in motion, but the way she did the perspective created a dynamic movement and energy, Sawyer's painting has movement to it because of the way those brush strokes are put. So movement is really open, and I would incorporate all of it. Like if you're focusing on movement, push the boundaries of movement, have thematic movement, have, visual movement, have dynamic composition movement, all of it.
Yeah.
And the last one is balance. You can, of course, achieve balance by having the objects in your painting, like literally balancing on something, or maybe you look at the golden ratio and you're creating your painting based on the golden ratio.
You could paint a perfect golden ratio painting.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't. I know I couldn't.
It's really interpretive, that one. So a good balance of color, just something that's really pleasing and feels balanced overall.
So with all of these though, the main thread through all of it is that we want you guys to be incredibly creative with it and have your own interpretation and to really own the element of art that you're given.
I think actually this is probably the most important challenge of the whole season, because all of you are still in this, and this is like your last chance to really let people like remember who you are and like your voice. So each painting that you're doing, like just really try to like wow us with your own unique style. This one also, you have a lot of freedom. You get to paint whatever you want as long as you have, you're choosing one of these. So.
Could you go over the 7?
Oh, the categories you mean?
There's 5.
Yeah, so there's 5 categories. There's attitude, sellability, uniqueness, there's theme, and so with this month, you'll be judged, your theme is basically to paint the element of art, so that's 20% of what you'll be judged on.
How you follow the rules, right?
Yeah, how you follow the rules and operate within the challenge. So then the other 80% is, skill, sellability, uniqueness, and attitude. So now we're gonna have all of you guys draw your elements out of the bucket to determine what your painting will be like for this challenge. And we're just gonna start with this side, go over this side. So, Christina, you get to go first.
Gosh. Get the paint over quickly, rip the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Texture.
Ooh.
She looks excited.
You're like,
Depth. Just
Depth.
when I want it.
Oh. Make sure you guys aren't looking, by the way, because if you look in, I mean, I know it would be hard.
Scale.
Scale.
Barb, I'm gonna need that class, okay, tonight. Perspective. I wanted line, actually.
Line. So can we set up deals where we swap, you know, for so much money, I'll swap you?
No swapping, definitely not.
I know. They're like, challenge Bree accepted.
Color.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, maybe not.
I mean, think about it though. Having that to be the thing you need to push the boundaries up, get the smell in.
They're all good.
Movement.
That's a good one.
We should do white elephant.
Yeah. That would be really funny.
Patterns. I can do that.
That's mine, I tell you.
I can do that. I got this.
You.
Leave me something good, Michael.
We'll see. Contrast. Oh, yeah. Perfect.
What does that leave?
Oh yeah, that's one more. I got balance.
All right.
That was kind of cool, actually.
How's everyone feeling about what they got?
Good.
Good.
Cool.
Bree.
So much Bree.
I'm excited.
Vanishing point.
Pattern is gonna be fun.
This challenge will not only push the boundaries of your art, but it's also gonna push your physical boundaries as well. It's a little bit different from other challenges because you guys are gonna have 12 hours to finish your painting. Wow. And we will be starting painting at 10 p.m. tonight.
That is no kind of balance in any way, shape, or form. A balanced lifestyle, sleep.
You're joking.
I'm not joking.
Hey, everybody. So are we?
As I told you guys,
12 hours straight.
As I told you guys last night, this is going to be the most physically challenging one.
This is gonna be
most likely. So you guys have 12 hours to finish your painting. The thing is though, if you leave the building outside going to the bathroom, then you can't paint anymore. So you can paint as long as you want.
Straight. Can we
You have 12 hours straight.
Wow.
Yes, tomorrow morning.
Does anyone have
Is somebody going to bring us food? I need to know about food.
So there will be snacks, there will be coffee, there will be juices,
There will be temptations.
and there will be temptations for you.
What does that mean?
They're gonna hand us pillows and earmuffs.
There's gonna be bed set up for
I've never hold it all nighter.
Can you sleep in here?
Yes, you can sleep in the room.
I have
but
9 p.m. bedtime.
I'm going to start
saying.
passing out melatonin.
Yes. Can we have music?
no music. 12 hours of silence.
No music.
Huh?
Any material.
Any materials you want. You just have to use the materials that you guys got in the mini challenge.
Okay, I think
This is going to be the most fun challenge yet, so you don't have to stay up all night if you don't want to. You can leave whenever you want throughout the challenge. But as soon as you leave the building, besides going to the bathroom, of course, you will be done with your painting and you will no longer be allowed to work on it. Your challenge is over.
Like you can't go sleep for 5 hours and come back in the morning and work on it.
Wow. But you can sleep. Cool. Yeah, but you can sleep in here.
So we're gonna have a sleep. It will be silent.
It's a slumber party.
I'm bringing my.
The lights on the whole night.
I'm gonna need the whole 12 hours. My sleep schedule's so bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it's any solace, you guys will be up with you too. So
We won't.
we're expecting a lot out of you guys. You guys have 12 hours and unlimited materials to use. And as always, you may use your lifeline with either Ellie or Dimitra. So if you need to, we can wake them up in the middle of the night
and have them come help you with your paint.
3 in the morning. Ellie, I have a quick question.
But if you were really, really smart, I would say not to use your lifeline tonight because you do have 12 hours to paint.
That's true.
I'm just saying, there's going to be way more difficult challenges.
So it's push, the theme is push the boundaries. So you're supposed to push the boundary with the one you've got.
I'm tired right now just thinking about it.
So make sure you guys take a nap and you're well rested.
All right.
So we wish you guys the best of luck with your source creating, and we'll see you later tonight.
Look at Barb's already yawning. Look at that.
Already.
I'm feeling very tired. I stayed up late last night, and I just found out we're gonna have to stay up really late tonight. So I took a nap. I might look a little crazy.
Just had a breakdown, but I'm feeling, I don't have my source yet, so I'm kind of feeling uncertain of what I want to paint.
I'm so excited about it. I think it's so great, and I think we're gonna have some crazy, I don't know, like I've never painted all night, so this is a big sort of test for all of us, I think.
I'm actually really excited. I mean, I kind of said it right when you guys told us it was going to be pulling an all-nighter. I feel like being the youngest one here and the fact that like I'm a teenager and all of us have terrible sleep schedules anyway, I think that's going to help me a little bit.
I feel like this will be the most fun sort of all-nighter. I'm just trying to come up with a plan right now, but I'm really happy with texture. It's like a piece of dust.
Very positive.
You'll wait till 3 in the morning. Shut up and sit down. Don't take it personally.
You all have 12 hours to finish. So that means that at 10:45 a.m., your paintings will be finished. You guys know the rules. If you leave the studio, your painting is done. You may not work on it anymore. Of course, you can go to the bathroom. If you're gone for more than 20 minutes, we'll assume that you have forfeited for the night. So, your challenge begins in 3, 2, 1.
Woohoo! Fast, it's moving already.
Alrighty.
Oh no! Oh no!
Let's go, people.
Lordy Lord.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I have a plan for some of them. I want to put like modeling paste where the brick would lay so that it has like on like certain spots.
What did you get? Texture?
Contrast?
This part is probably going to be the most like time-consuming part.
What? Modeling?
No, the figuring out. But once you get it,
Yeah.
I think you'll be able to just like go. You know.
All right.
At least for me, that's what always takes.
Don't mind me. 3 hours, put the SpongeBob like 3 hours later.
3 hours later.
The source I chose this morning was really complicated and I shouldn't have done that. So I should have chosen something simpler. So now I'm tossing and turning. Do I choose something simple or do I do something that really challenges me? Because that is part of this challenge, is pushing yourself beyond. So it's sort of like, what do I do here?
It's really rough, and it's just not fair. I'm old. okay, I can't do it anymore. Like I don't paint it nice anymore.
The night is young.
The night is young.
It's gonna be all covered. Just kidding, I'm done. Going to bed now.
Definitely nervous for sure, because I literally was thinking about all the different ones as they listed them, and I was thinking, okay, like what's like maybe like the hardest one, or like one that ever, like there's artists like out there that struggle, that have been painting for like 30 years, that struggle with perspective, and I have perspective.
Kind of have an idea. Yeah, winging it. I got 12 hours. I gotta wait for this to dry.
I think it'll be fun till like 5, and then after 5, I don't know what I'm gonna do. The challenge ahead, a long night. For sure, I went to the store. I'm a Southern girl, so I bought 2 different kinds of sweet tea, 2 iced coffees. I have Coca-Colas.
I can't wait till I get to the fun stuff.
Totally didn't expect that we would have an overnight challenge. It sounds fun. And I really like that there's 12 hours potentially to paint. That's amazing. So I think that's really cool. I'm hoping that I can hang for that long because I'm already super tired. So.
Holy cow, you're gonna be able to go take a nap.
I want to paint something that I am attracted to and that I want to paint, but I also want to keep in mind of the elements of art. So mine is depth, so I want to make sure that I nail all the 5 depths of art, and I want to keep it pretty simple because I don't want to have to go into details and spend a lot of time doing details when the focus is depth.
There's a citation for that, young lady. Everyone here, I am hereby giving you notice. There's a lot of commotion around the neighborhood, getting a lot of complaints, vapors, paint fumes, and a lot of sounds, unusual sounds. I have come to inspect. There's a lot of food and drinks and shreds here. I'm about to write a few notes down, and I'm going to give a few citations that I can see right here. I'll have to go around and inspect thoroughly. So just keep going about your business.
I can't wait for my citation.
Improper use of tape. We got a little bit of bunching up of tape there in the middle. We need a little more tape down here. Somebody help her in a moment. Her pencils and paintbrushes are sticking to the tape. It's a little bit too much. We'll loosen that up. You're unbuttoned, sir. That's indecent exposure. Improper use of gold leaf there.
No! Proper use!
Too early to tell? No, minus that. Scratch that. Take note of that. Hey, are you taking notes?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a lot of work to do, young man. What is going on here?
Catching up.
Ma'am?
No looking, no looking.
I'm the inspector. It's my job. I have to inspect. I have to look thoroughly through here.
Oh no.
Oh.
There's a hole. I ripped my paper.
Yeah, it's a do-over right there.
Do-over, do-over. Please, I need a do-over. Where's the tape? Where's the tape?
The paper is too thin, ma'am.
The paper's
have
too
to scratch that. Where did you acquire this imagery?
The internet.
Okay, I suppose that's a free for all there. We're gonna have to put our own personal spin on this one, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm gonna start inks now.
Inks?
And gold leaf.
Okay, allow proper drawing time on that.
Okay, thank you.
Very serious business right there. Sir, those thoughts that flow through my mind night and day, never sleep, never awake. I'm looking for ice cream. Ma'am, you're dripping right off the page. That's got to be a citation there. I'm going to have to check the records. You'll follow. You're on thin ice, young lady. That's a very, very important perspective you're focusing on right there. We're gonna have to come back to that. We're gonna revisit that one.
Okay.
That is a fine specimen right there. No problems on this corner over here.
Wow, what is that?
Although she does look a little bit sleepy and those earrings are kind of suspect. I saw some more previous metallic structures outside reminiscent of these. If someone's going around here making their own jewelry they're wearing, make sure that's proper. Etiquette. Hygiene at all times, okay? Stay hydrated.
Hygiene. We're all in trouble now.
Who's responsible for this timepiece here? It's quite quick. It's quite a little bit too quick.
It's quite quick.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo! Thank you, Officer Freezy.
Never sleep, never awake.
Never awake. That's Officer Freezy right there.
Good? Oh yeah.
I think I have this like fear of going to bed. Like I feel like I can make a pretty decent painting in like 6 hours because there's only so much you can do with oil paint. Like it takes days to dry. So I don't think I'm gonna use all of my 12 hours. That's just pretty hard. So I was gonna go to bed, but I don't wanna go to bed and come back at like 11 a.m. tomorrow morning and everybody have like a masterpiece. So we'll see. Maybe I'll paint the whole 12 hours. At 10 p.m., like exactly at 10 p.m., my English goes off. So if you want to ask me questions, I would just not talk in English at all. I would like just say something weird in Russian and you have to stick with it because I can't function after 10 p.m. in the foreign language. Just doesn't work.
Sawyer, look, their collage. Isn't that cute? For
Oh, I love it. Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's the sweetest thing. Thank you. I love
the peacock. How you feeling, Bree?
Well, it took me like 2 hours, so.
Like, we're going to be tired, we're going to be sort of a little, completely upside down in terms of how we would normally approach a painting, I guess, because we're going to be going into the early hours of the morning and feeling tired. So yeah, but I'm excited.
Okay, so I've heard you guys. I know that you guys really want music. And so I decided to play some music for you guys.
Thank you.
Great.
It'll be right?
Not lullaby music.
Thank you.
Oh, happy day.
Oh, it's so nice.
Wearing that outfit, like to be like a yoga person.
Jake, that's mean. It's so nice.
Guys, this can get you into right super quickly. Like you just get into
Right, Blaine, and night-night.
Yeah.
What's going on? How cool. Let's do what I think.
Kindness.
I'm not kidding.
Better than nothing, right?
Come on, now that the music's on, it's time to party. Okay, is this better or worse than no music?
Worse. I would rather have no music.
Don't go into the fuzziness, Barb.
Just imagine you're in a spa right now, getting a nice foot massage. You chose to have tea tree oil and lavender.
I have my oils. You want some? I do have them. Wait, I'll show you.
That's so sweet.
What is that?
It's pushing the boundaries of your ears.
Cruelty to animals.
Just wait. It gets crazy. Oh, Andrea, you can't wear headphones.
They're not on. They're not plugged in.
Barb's actually digging it.
I'm getting a second win.
I'm learning that I just have to squash any negative feeling or self-talk in myself, right off the bat, and just, no matter what, just don't give it any space. Just switch that thought completely the opposite and start being more open to how things could turn out instead of trying to imagine what's gonna happen.
Wow, looks so cool, Hannah. So pretty.
Just gotta wait for it to dry.
Wow, so cool. What was yours again?
Lime.
Oh.
This competition means a lot to me. I feel like it's really gonna test my boundaries and just test myself as an artist and to see how far I can push myself. That's really why I'm here.
I ended up with pattern as my art value that I'm supposed to be kind of pushing the boundaries with, which is something in my work that I've been trying to do, and I have a lot of ideas that if they turn out the way I'm thinking they will, I really think the judges are gonna love the way that I kind of took what my theme challenge was to what I should be pushing with pattern, and the way that I do that, I think I could get some really cool points for it. So I'm excited to see what I can do.
It is 1:30. Woo! You guys have been painting for almost 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So, just for context for everyone, that's how far Esther is. Isaac, Sawyer, Roxanne,
Even Bree got some.
Alana, Bree. I would say Asia is
Pretty far behind.
pretty far behind as well. We got Christina, Andrea, Barb, and then Michael.
I just really like eyes. I think they're the easiest way to capture intense emotions extremely quickly. So since we are timed and we don't have a lot of time to find sources, and I have lots of practice drawing eyes, and I think it's a main theme for myself. I love seeing the deeper parts of people, and you can tell a lot just how from the eyes and the windows to the soul, and I pay a lot of attention to eyes.
I like the idea of having more than 4 hours to do something in. So the fact that it's 12 appeals to me. The fact that it's night, I'm fond of sleeping, but hey, I'll make it through.
I don't know if I'm going to use those inks, maybe a few other ones, and then sort of like cover them with something that I can texturize, or if I just need to bring them back. I don't know. Don't know yet. Wish I did. That'd be really good.
I'm looking forward to how it's all gonna go for everyone. Like, I love deadlines, I live for deadlines. Like, I spend half of my life just prepping for the art exams in the art school, just like not sleeping at night. I used to not sleep more than 4 hours for like 5, 6 years straight, just like doing all of the assignments, and I'm so sick of it. So I feel like this whole thing just stretches me so much and also triggers me so much.
Like you could put in your gray and then put these back in.
Yeah, I need to.
You know what I mean? Wow, look at the collage. That eye is so cool.
I collaged tree bark, so that might not work. I don't know if that's ever gonna dry.
I collaged tree bark. That's great.
I'm trying to push the boundaries of texture, you know?
Oh yeah, he's taking shape. My dancer person guy.
You think that's gonna fly, Jake? I think he's just asking for it.
Never asleep, never awake. Always in between.
Guys, Jake's already asleep.
That's like, was it Spaceman's?
Yeah.
Right?
So we're gonna move into the next phase of the night.
You guys are getting funny. Turn on golf.
Actually, that's really good. I wouldn't mind watching some Golf Channel right now.
What is it?
This is what we were talking about while I was eating dinner. Ways to make you guys take this all out.
I've heard of this. What is this called? I've watched this. That's why I'm worried. What is this? I've seen this. I hope I don't get so delirious I start crying.
It's been a rush. It's funny because I didn't really think it would be, but then once it's happened, it's been good. Yeah.
Does anyone have a pencil sharpener?
Yeah.
This is all about challenging me and growing me as an artist, or they just want me off the show like real bad. They're like, get her out.
Oh, thanks.
How you feeling?
Work in progress. I'm almost there.
What's there?
I don't know how I keep messing up the proportions, but it just keeps happening. But I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Cool.
All right, guys. We wanted to switch things up a little bit. So this is much better. It's called perfect pitch programming.
You guys might see me have a breakdown.
What?
I don't know if I can do it. Like, I don't know if I can handle it.
This? Or
yes, no, that.
Oh, the beeping?
Just hum to yourself.
Where's the whistler? Cue the whistler.
What do you need?
Anything.
Everything that you
Okay.
Cue the whistler.
Now just sing with it.
Consider yourself
F.
Who cares?
I need a better happy song. This is really intense. Okay.
Michael, add in some stuff onto it.
I just stopped caring. The contrast is this one does not matter at all. I can't even think. But yep, I'm just winging it and not caring about it anymore because I've been working on it for way too long. So we'll see what happens.
something I've learned so far. I think a lot of times I want to step back and look at everyone else's paintings around me and like see what they're doing. But it's like God keeps placing in my heart, just look at your painting. Don't look at everyone else's painting. Don't look at the chaos around you, and don't compare your painting to their painting. Just look at your painting and do the best that you can do and focus on that.
Flashing back to the interview when she said not to look at other people.
No. I'm admiring.
But you did just say that you're gonna stay down there and make sure you're looking at everyone.
You're right. Oh my God. You're right. Dang it.
Honestly, I feel like the hardest part was like 1:30.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, maybe it's just the whiskey, but I feel way better now than I did then.
Yeah.
Michael's adding color.
He's adding.
Finally made it.
Very proud of.
How long did it take? What, we started at
10:45.
Get it done?
You just gave the rest of us a 5-hour head start. That's all, Michael.
That's okay. You know, you guys need it, you know. Shots fired, shots fired.
Whoa! That's how we're playing it.
I'm finally sketching too. Yay! Will my bark be dried in time?
Will your bark?
I hope so. I hope so.
We're almost halfway done.
Ooh, that's a good tape peel.
The question is though, does X mark the spot?
I keep having these moments where I feel like I forgot how to paint. Like, what am I doing? I just feel like completely out of my element, like, I don't know, like lost, you know?
I'm having fun. I was a little worried, like, what's gonna happen? And I'm just getting into my groove, so I feel pretty good.
All right, now I'll put out my cool oils.
Yeah. I think I would have liked maybe to have gotten a little bit higher. Like, everybody maybe would like to have a little bit of a higher score than they ended up with. But I think the judge's assessment was probably fair. But I'm hoping this challenge I can, you know, hit a little bit higher.
This looks very Michael.
You think so?
Yeah, it's cool. So this is all, did it get to dry eventually?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it all worked out.
Colors are very vibrant. spraying it with titanium wet paint instead of.
No! Are you serious?
Yes.
Medium white paint. Oh, no.
Instead of that.
You're all done?
Bye. It's getting light out there.
I knew I had skill, but I never pushed myself to my limits, and I think these challenges are really pushing myself, so I'm just surprised at the quality that I can create with the limitations that are implied.
Challenges are fine. It just I'm not challenged the way I feel like I'm supposed to. It's just like speed up process and limit amount of art supplies is like completely opposite to the temperament that I'm painting.
Don't ever let me do a hand again. No. Thank
Oh no!
Hey, 7 o'clock, everybody.
I'm not doing good. How many hours left do we have?
Cool texture.
I feel like it's too early or late to be in an ugly face.
You know what I mean? It's like smack down into it.
You still have time, and I would just like focus on your focal point. Render out your focal point.
What is my focal point?
That I can persevere in spite of whatever the heck's going on with my family at home. I forget everything when I'm doing it. So it's a good place to be.
Asia, it's glowing. Yeah, your sun is glowing. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I'm sure you need to go. Yay!
Oh, who's leaving? Barb's leaving. You're leaving, Barb?
I'm leaving.
Bye, Barb.
Esther's leaving too.
It was fun, Barb.
It looks so beautiful. All of you are so amazing.
Let's not do it again. Bye. It was fun.
Good night, you guys.
Good night.
Good night. Good morning.
Bye, Esther. Good job. Good job.
I got the lowest score on my overalls, and it made me sad. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I gotta stay upbeat, stay positive, and so even thinking of the challenges ahead, if I keep it positive, I'm gonna have a good time.
12 hours is good for me because I am slow and I like to take it slow and I like to watch paint dry.
All right. I'll see you at the house.
We got 15 minutes, guys. Wow, look at that. She pops.
I feel confident, but then again, I don't really know how the judges are going to see my art. So I'm just hoping for the best.
Alright guys, 10 seconds.
Oh, you didn't give us a
3, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, Russia's done. Good job, guys. Great job.
Good job, guys.
You know what? It's gonna be done. In whatever the time frame is, whatever the challenge is, like, it's gonna be done and it's over. Like, a new day happens and you just keep growing.
I am feeling very tired, but I just took a little bit of a nap. So I'm here, but I feel like I'm not back in my body yet.
Actually, it was pretty fun and enjoyable. Tiring, exhausting, but enjoyable.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I'm feeling like I've been up for, at least a week. Even with a nap, I'm tired.
The lights are extra bright.
Feeling a bit sore in the noggin.
I feel really good. So I am really relieved it's over.
See, look we're all so tired. I can't even hardly string words together, and I cooked tonight. At least I didn't try to operate a car or anything.
I knew if I laid down, I was not going to get back up. So I just didn't let myself lay down because I really thought I might sleep through the competition.
I feel good. I didn't sleep super long after the challenge because usually I feel like it'll like throw my sleep schedule off the next day, but I spent most of the day relaxing afterwards.
And my hair looks like this.
Going into it, I told myself, like, once the sun comes up, I'm done. I was starting to get a little delusional towards the end. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, what I'm painting, and I was just like laying it all down. And I love kind of that, like, you're totally in your right brain at that point because you just can't think.
Did everyone say tired?
I'm just going for the montage of tired, definitely tired.
Okay, so Barb got balance.
Got everything drawn in there. I got everything kind of underpainted. I was feeling kind of, boy, this is at the ugly stage. Let's get out the oils. And then almost immediately, the excitement of some of those big, bold brush strokes made me excited, like, okay, this is gonna work, this is gonna work.
I think that her theme, definitely stayed strong to that, and I think she captured balance. Overall, I really like this painting, and I think it's successful. I think parts of it are a little bit dark. I would like to see more highlights, and maybe she could have exaggerated the flow of her dress a little bit more, but you can really feel their form and like the movement in their dancing. And
The low point was 7:30 in the morning, and my painting had hands in it, and I need to practice my hands. And I had this one hand in the painting that was a claw, and I scraped it down maybe 5 times. And I still feel like I need to go back and fix that hand.
I wish she had done a little more with the guy's suit and had more form in there. Like, it's a little bit, probably her source didn't have a lot of folds and whatnot, and so I think that it's weak. It's like he's just got log legs, and there's not a lot of form or wrinkles or whatever. But then like the tie shirt area is okay.
And her legs are done great.
Yeah. So I would say as far as like skill and all that, like it's pretty good, but not
her best.
Not her best.
Yeah.
And I think it is too dark, and there's something more she could have done with the dark.
She really surprised me that she stayed up all night and left. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, she did great.
I thought for sure Barb was gonna be asleep on the floor.
It's like, oh my gosh, my back is tired. eyes are like drooping. I can't even think straight. So I'd get up and I'd walk around or I'd stretch, kind of see what everybody else was doing. And then I'd get all excited again and go back to it.
Oh, well, you got contrast.
One thing that was really prevalent on my mind during this challenge was my own limiting self-beliefs. I feel like this one really pushed me, both mentally and like stylistically, because I've never done like a full-on abstract fun painting like that, and I was really struggling in the beginning, trying to battle if I wanted to go more realistic or go more abstract, and that was kind of something that I was dealing with the whole time.
You know, this definitely has lots of contrast. I would say that's
the only thing he did well.
Yeah, sadly, I mean, this is not his best work. And
well, it's not even just that it's not his best work, it might even be his worst.
It feels like he really gave up and didn't care.
Yeah, like I guess that's what frustrates me the most, is that it looks like he didn't rally or have any grit or desire to win, or it's like he just almost made up his mind, screw it, I don't even care, and didn't put effort.
Honestly, I don't think I made a good painting. Like, I think it's a bad painting, but hopefully everyone else thinks it's cool. But I think it was good for me to come to that place where I just don't really care about, I mean, I care about the outcome, but I don't care about making a bad painting. And I think that's one thing that a lot of artists are really afraid of with trying new things or pushing themselves in new aspects of their style. So I think this challenge was extremely helpful for myself in discovering that part of me.
Like, I know for sure, guaranteed, he can paint a lot better than that, even in 30 minutes.
Totally.
And he had 12 hours.
Yeah.
And like, to imagine that this took him from 10:45 at night till 6:30 in the morning.
I think he left at 5. Anyways.
Whatever. The fact that he spent that much time on it was, you know, and I left at like 2:30 and he still had a white canvas.
I started with modeling paste, so that took a lot of time to dry. So I was just sitting around most of the time.
So maybe he choked is the only thing I can think of.
Once I started sketching it, I sketched out the woman pretty quickly and wasn't really that big of a deal, but there's just something with the guy, I don't know what it was. I kept measuring and then remeasuring, and then all the proportions were off every single time. I don't know how, because I measured and then I measure again and it was off.
There's nothing, the color's bad, the form is terrible, there's composition's terrible, like it's not sellable, like it's bad.
I think there was a point where I just kind of got frustrated and then was like, you know, screw this, I'm just going for it. Because I think at that point we'd already gone like 4 or 5 hours in and I had no paint on my canvas. So I was like, I gotta do something.
Sawyer got value.
I'm very happy with the piece that I created. I think it's a very successful piece and I think I followed it really well thematically.
I really loved how, you know, her theme fit with value and she's playing with the idea of worth and just, it really makes you think, but it's also really open-ended and it can mean anything.
Many times where I just, out of pure will, had to sit there and keep painting and just not stop because I was so tired. And at one point my hand was shaking on the canvas and it was all I could do to just keep going.
She has really great values in there. She has, you know, all of them, I would say.
Yeah.
So I think she did really good.
Yeah, I think she did really good.
I love this dove and how she like stylized that, and I love the polka dots in it.
Maybe it's like more of these things.
Little things. It needs little stuff.
Little
maybe.
Stuff here and there, like a segue between that harsh, like light to the dark.
Like if their feathers were kind of like floating
blurry, there was a little more depth to it, you know? All the edges are about the same.
The hardest thing was like those really high-pitched sounds that like could send me over the edge. I did the best that I could do, but oh my gosh, I was like, if they keep playing this, I really might have a nervous breakdown. Like they'll get it on film, it'll be a whole thing because those really high-pitched sounds, I could not handle those.
I think it could be a little better in the skill part, but I think I agree with everything you said. I think she did a great job.
Isaac got patterns.
Honestly, being able to step back from my painting and seeing the concept that I kind of wanted to translate through the painting, I feel like I really was able to successfully do that.
He surprised me in this one. I feel like this is actually one of his best paintings. You don't think so?
I've seen him do better paintings. I think that the brick is super cool, and like, you know, the stuff on it's really interesting. You can tell that that's where he put a lot of time.
I spent, I think, a solid maybe 2 hours, probably an hour and a half, just having to wait for the very thick modeling paste that I put on. And I did honestly get a little tad bit nervous, because going into it, I had kind of kept repeating like, okay, we have 12 hours, so as long as I can get my figure drawn in and have about 6 to 8 hours to work on it, I'll be super confident. And I was definitely cutting it very close to that line with how long that modeling paste took to dry. I didn't see it coming, given that we had the heat gun. I thought it was gonna go a lot faster, and then it just didn't.
I think he got lost in the woods on the figure, and maybe he did oil and it got muddy and messy, and he got tired by the time he got to that. That's my feeling. And he just didn't, you know, get enough together to really pull the form. I think if that figure had like skin tones or a lot more form to it and wasn't, you know, so muddy in the white, I think that would really improve the painting. It kind of looked like he gave up a little bit on the figure, and he put most of his effort into the other stuff.
At the very, very end of my night, I was getting ready, like was pretty much cleaned up, totally ready to kind of head back to the house after a long night of work, and decided to peel the tape off my edges, and figured out that there was a layer of tape for my bricklaying that I had not peeled up, because it was so close to the tape on the edges that I had not realized it was still on there. That was definitely kind of like a shock of, oh, that looks like tape. And then peeling it up and realizing I still had pretty much bare canvas just sitting there for me.
Anyway, I like the Pac-Man stuff.
I don't know. I feel a little differently, but that's okay. We're two different judges. Esther, she got movement.
I really like it. I wasn't expecting it's gonna turn out that well. I was really struggling with the drawing in the beginning because it was like 5 figures. Even though they're like in like helmets and stuff, it was like still a lot of movement and like all of the legs and hands and hats, and just makes me dizzy painting so many.
I think this turned out really good. I think it definitely shows movement. It's not like, whoa, I'm blown away by movement, but it definitely shows it. I can see where she was going with that. I think the way she painted it's really, really cool. I think she did really good on the form. The color is really cool. I think it's a very strong piece.
Yeah.
I think she did great. I think she had, you know, a lot of trouble with her attitude in the beginning of this.
I think I was just like really tired, and like other things happened before, and I was like really frustrated, and I wanted like to trace just like outlines first, and then it's ended up that like I'm not allowed to do that. So I was like really stressed out, and I'm overreacted a lot because it just was like the last drop in my mood situation. But then like again, it's like as I pushed through and started drawing, like I felt fine, and I'm like, okay, I do know how to draw, so it's like it's not a big deal.
She needs more self-control, I think, with her, you know, I think it'll start with being a little more self-aware and understanding what's at the root of what bothers her, and rather than deflecting and reacting and becoming kind of a victim about things, if she like figures out how to like understand why she's feeling what she's feeling, then she can probably find some stuff to overcome the feelings she has. But to her credit, even though I know she had at least starting out, she really had a bad attitude and was struggling. You know, she pulled it around and she did a great job. And so, you know,
yeah, it's awesome.
I wasn't aware of how she did that, but she did, obviously.
How you feel, it's not, in most cases, how things are. It's just like your perception of it. So if you're stuck in like how you feel and you're cooking in your sauce and cooking in your drama, like it's really hard to be focused on the goal. But as soon as like you switch to the goal, it's like pretty easy, because I'm like, okay, I want this more than I want to feel sorry about myself. So.
Roxanne, what did she get?
Oh, she got color.
Color, yeah.
It was truly a challenge. I personally enjoyed having enough time to think about the process, to have some time to study it, back away from it, make adjustments, that kind of thing. So I think that for me worked out really well. Was it tough staying awake all night? Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, I haven't done an all-nighter in a long time.
I think she did great, and I think that she really rallied. And I know she was having a hard time with the mini challenge and felt pretty, you know, defeated in that. And she, you know, really pulled it together, and she did great with the all-nighter. And,
yeah.
You know, keeping a good mental attitude along the way.
It was a lot of fun, but everybody was super encouraging to each other, and we kind of helped keep each other awake. And then Jake played some annoying audio things to stimulate us and annoy us and try to get us to go to sleep. So, but we didn't. We stuck it out and finished.
I think the color is definitely evident here. I don't know about the orange and blue, orange and purple as a combination. I think the turquoise on the beak helps it a lot.
And the blue around the eyes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a very nice painting, and she did a really good job. And especially from a distance, it really pops.
It really
pops. Impactful.
I would find myself kind of poking and dabbing at my painting, which is not the way you paint, but I was tired. It was like, well, I just want to put a highlight here, or I just want to do this over here, but it was like slow-mo from the brain to the hand to the brush to the canvas was really slow. So that was kind of a tough one.
I feel like a lot of people would want this on their wall.
Yeah.
It's a very sellable painting.
Yeah.
So Alana got line.
The time flew by. I don't know where the time went, but it got to be sort of 8 hours of painting, and it just, it absolutely flew by. I was really surprised.
This was one of my favorite paintings, I think, in the whole competition. And she did have she had to restart her painting, I remember that. But she had a great attitude. I think she had fun. I know we're not judging on attitude, but...
It was just fun that we were all painting, and it was like a real physical, mental, personal challenge to, just to stay on track and be focused. And I just thought it was fun. That was the highlight. I just loved the whole challenge. I thought it was really cool.
Her painting is like really beautiful and also extremely sellable.
Totally.
She has so much variety.
She did a great job with the line.
Yes. This area is like, it's just, you want to just keep staring at it, and you're wondering like, how did she do it?
I wanted to just absolutely use every minute that there was given to us to like do my best. I don't even think I didn't really take too many breaks. I was just really wanting to put everything into that painting.
Yeah, she did really, really well. And I do like that she kind of had a slow start in the challenges. Like, she didn't do so great in the first challenge, and she, flubbed a few of the mini challenges. But this is like, okay, that's Alana that we know. She's a very strong artist, and this really shows it. And I think she did great with the line, lots of variety. It's a fantastic painting.
Yeah. So Bree had perspective.
I like my painting. I think, obviously I think it could be better. I think it was super great that we had 12 hours for this one. just because it did take a little bit of that stress away, especially since I had perspective. It took like 2 hours just to like get it in where like, okay, this is like roughly where it is. And then you still have to keep checking angles though.
I was honestly a little worried about this painting at the source, and watching her make sources and kind of like, you know,
she was really stressed,
super stressed out, and she was almost like grabbing at straws at the end and just trying anything. And you know, she took this photo and without actually creating any kind of abstract stuff in the background, all in her own, out of her own mind, she abstracted it. And just, you know, it's a photo of Bianca that she took. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I think she did really great in the creative and artistic department. I think she did good with the form and getting the foreshortening.
There were still things that I wanted to do to it, but that it was wet, and so it's like you can't really get a dry brush technique while it's wet. But I think that like I was really trying to push the boundaries on like the Caran d'Ache, because that was my mini challenge, and then I was trying to still make it be me. But yeah, I'm really proud of myself for like doing it, getting it done. Yeah, I like it. It's pretty good.
There's a few things I think could be better.
Yeah, this hand, you know, I know she struggled with this hand, and it's a little bit big.
Yeah, and
the other one is like really weirdly foreshortened. So
I thought the other one's pretty good.
No, she did it good, but it's like compared to that one, you think, oh, it's really small, but it's actually not.
Something I've learned is that I need to really check angles. So I have to watch those, line them up a little bit more.
I like how she did the face, very abstract and
that was
undefined.
a good move.
And with the hair, I mean, I think she did a really good job.
This is Asia's.
Yeah.
Asia got scale.
I had tried to make a source for hours and I couldn't think of anything. And so finally I just took whatever I had that I wasn't really happy with, and once I got to the studio, I decided that it wasn't gonna work. So I was just like, for, I don't know, a good hour at least, I was trying to still decide how to even start. So at that point, I was super freaked out.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like her idea.
Another really good piece.
Yeah, I like her idea. I love how she, you know, sort of abstracted everything. I love how the head is super abstract.
So effortless feeling.
Yeah.
And also refined. You can like really feel like the focus is here. I mean, I don't know, you kind of bounce between them, but I really love how she has the different phases of the moon, and it's like, I don't know, the hand is like, it's so well done.
I was expecting more attitudes. I was even expecting to have a bad attitude, but in the beginning I was very serious, but it got really fun, and it was really nice to have so much time, because I'm still learning how to work under pressure, and at least knowing like, okay, shoot, it took me 2 hours to get started, but I still have 10 hours. Like, that was a good feeling.
I love how it really makes you think about things and wonder without, you know, you feeling like there's a definite meaning to it, and I hope I get it right. So I think she, you know, put a lot of meaning into it without beating us over the head with it.
It definitely helped to have advice from others and their input, because I think I was just getting like too boxed in, and then feeling the pressure and kind of feeling stuck.
I wish that the moon glowed. If the moon, and I think that's probably just the time constraint and not of being able to let paint dry.
Wet. Yeah, and that one pretty much glows.
Because I do a lot of glowy things, and it takes layers and layers and time.
Yeah.
So probably, I don't know if I could do a glowy moon
all in one sitting.
Yeah, all in one sitting. I would have to do it like as expertly as possible with acrylic, and get it as realistic as I humanly can with acrylic, and then just simply glaze and put a little oil. And I think she did the whole thing in oil, and that's why.
Andrea, this painting is really beautiful.
It was very overwhelming for me, and I had 2 breakdowns before we went into the challenge. And then once I got down there and started painting, everything just kind of melted away, and I was able just to focus and get in the zone and just pump out a good painting in the 12 hours.
It's definitely like super, you know, her style.
Yeah.
Her voice really shines through.
Yeah, it's a really strong piece. The face is fantastic. The eyes.
The lotus flower, I love it.
I love how the gold leaf peeks through. I love how she did the paws. Very loose and effortless. It's a really good piece.
Yeah.
The theme of the month was to push our boundaries, and I definitely feel like I accomplished that in this challenge. And I'm really surprised on how I handled it and how not tired I was. I felt really energized just being around other people, and we were all in the same experience together, so it was really nice to just come together and focus, and we were all very supportive of each other, and I think everybody did so well.
She is a
Very slow painter, and she did great.
And she stayed up all night to the very last minute working on it.
What was her theme again?
Depth.
Depth. Definitely has depth.
Yeah, it goes, and she took our advice, you know, like we were saying, make these trees noticeable, like lead our eye this way, and I think it definitely does that.
Some people do paint faster anyway, so I'm not really surprised that some of the faster painters were done earlier. And for people like me and Christina, the last 2 to finish painting. So we wanted to just get in all those final details, and we wanted to make sure that everything was laid out how we envisioned.
Well, on this piece, I have very conflicting feelings.
Working with texture and trying all of these I really pushed myself to try things that I have never done with texture before, which is cool. I would do things differently, but also I learned some things.
The good parts are, I think the skill is very good.
Oh, she got texture.
Yeah, texture.
Clearly.
She definitely paid attention to texture. She put her heart into the texture. I think a lot of the texture I really like and enjoy.
The hair here, the brush strokes.
Yeah, and she has all kinds of variety of texture.
Lots of variety.
And these flower things where she took, I don't know how she did that, but that's really great. And I think skill-wise, it's really, really well done. But 2 things that just really bother me, that I just makes me not like the piece, is the face is creepy, particularly with the giant cyclops eye on the forehead. I'm not into that. I don't like that. To me, it looks creepy. Her eyes look creepy. The dark in through here feels creepy.
I feel like I definitely pushed the boundary on texture, but I also would say, like, objectively, my painting is not my favorite painting I've ever done. I look at it and I'm kind of like, this is so weird. Like, this is like the weirdest painting I've ever done.
This feels happy and light and clean and, like something you want to look at. And then you go to the face and you're like, oh, I'm scared. So, and then I don't know what that is. That's texture on steroids. It's like, it's too much.
Yeah,
maybe.
I literally put a tree bark into my painting, and I don't actually know how long that should take to dry, but probably still more than 12 hours. It's probably still wet right now.
Actually, I really love this part of the volcano.
And I love this peak.
It's
That is
really,
beautiful.
it's just
it's the chunky monkey at the bottom.
I think that is kind of part of the texture that, like, it's really hard to pull off. And I know she wanted to, like, incorporate, nature into it. And so these are like tree trunk pieces, but it just doesn't translate. And we're like, what is this gloppy stuff?
Well,
like this, we know, okay, paint texture, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
it's just trippy because, you know, Christina is like this happy, merry little sprite that's just like joyful and singing and whistling and so sweet to everybody. It's like you're the last person, she's the last person you would think like she's gonna paint something creepy. But somehow, and she even acknowledges that it's creepy, you know, but she's like, I don't know, it's what I wanted to paint.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, but I think she did a good job. She definitely put a ton of effort and skill into it.
Thought into it.
Yeah, it's well done. It's just maybe I just don't like it.
Yeah.
One of my concerns was that I'm the oldest person in this competition, and I was very concerned about being able to keep up. And I did not bow out. I kept up, I kept going, I kept working. I could do an all-nighter.
Obviously with art, a lot of things are very, very subjective, you know? Someone could maybe make a piece that is their favorite piece they've ever created, and it may just not be some of the judges' style, and they just maybe get scored really low, even if the piece was a successful one.
I think everyone is just very talented. And so I don't think like any one of us is extremely better than the other person. I think everyone is very skilled and very talented. That's why we're all here.
It was cool just being able to just sort of encourage each other along. Like it was I felt like a very positive night. Bree and Asia, although they finished before me, they were still hanging out, and I really appreciated their support, and they were just there to encourage us and keep us focused and to finish strong.
I think if anything, it just bonded us more, and we were all just able to really grow in each other and almost lean on each other a little bit. We're more like family now. And everybody else that left, they didn't get to experience the giggles, and we were all giggling like crazy as the night went on, and so then that was super funny.
Everyone really got to use their voice in a way, and it's really cool being in that room and seeing, just looking around, and you can really feel each artist. It's really cool. This will probably be, I don't know what you guys have planned, but I'm sure we won't have this much time again to really do whatever we want to do in our processes.
It was definitely challenging to do everything in just one sitting, but it was really fun. I didn't know I could do that well. That's my attitude, especially in the beginning.
I just kept going back and back and back with Esther's painting about movement. Those figures, those brushstrokes, those colors. It was so lively. There was so much movement. It was almost okay, you're not supposed to compare yourself, but that girl can paint. And I was just so impressed. There was a couple of times I'd go back to mine, and mine looked kind of dead in comparison. So it was almost like I had that goal to paint like Esther.
I think my most favorite is probably Roxanne's. I love the powerful, that owl was it, I believe, and then the sparkles in the eyes, just you're stepping into that whole world, and that owl is extremely powerful. How she did all the purples, the oranges, and the feathers is really amazing.
I think I did way better than I did the other morning on my challenge, because that was awful. But we all paint ugly paintings, so that's okay. I think, at least I'm hoping and praying that I get in the 80s. I would be real happy for that.
Having them scored, I think it definitely adds a little bit of nerves while you're creating, but I definitely think it's kind of exciting too, just to know as you're creating, kind of questioning what you think they're gonna think about it after.
I don't like this question. It's hard. I'm not a judge. I mean, I like it. I think it's I did really well. Maybe 70.
There's a saying in my family, it's take 90% and leave, because when you're working towards that 10%, it's often when you mess it up. So Roxanne came over and she whispered in my ear, and she's like, it looks so good, but you need to go to bed. You're going to overwork it. And I was like, okay. And I'm take 90% and leave, so I get my painting at 90%. I'm not gonna mess it up going for that 10%.
It could be better.
But overall, I'm happy with it. So 70s.
I feel like I did a really good job with the line, and that was my main thing. But then, what would I score it? The painting. I'm gonna sit around the 75 again.
I think I'm really comfortable and confident that I got at least an 80.
I'm gonna go 75 because I thought, I think it's hard to get in the 80s or higher because it has to be super good.
Honestly, 65, maybe even 50. I'm not happy with it.
I'm just picturing my painting in this window, and I don't know what it is. I'm not sure. At least a 20 for texture.
All right, everyone, good morning. So you're all gathered here today for someone to get eliminated. No, I do want to say that you guys have all really surprised us in a good way with how well you're all performing. We thought that 1 or 2 people at the very least would just choke, honestly. I mean, out of 11 people, it's expected for at least 1 or 2 people to, fall short, and you guys all have done such an amazing job. So I want all of you guys to be really proud of yourselves. But unfortunately, as you guys know, somebody must be eliminated because, after all, this is a competition. Okay, so coming in first place with a cumulative score of 160.4 out of 200 points, we have Barb Gomez. Barb, on your first challenge, you scored an 81.3, and on your second challenge, you scored a 79.1. So congratulations. Okay, coming in second place, not too far behind, with a score of 156.1, we have Sawyer.
Hey, Sawyer!
On your first challenge, you scored a 77.5, and on your second challenge, you scored a 78.6. Okay. Good job. So, let's see, who's next? All right, so coming in third place with a score of 151.7, we have Asia. Coming in fourth place with a score of 148.6, we have Bree Bartz. And very, very closely behind, only 0.4 points below, with a score of 148.2 out of 200, we have Alana. Okay. And very closely behind that, only 0.4 points behind that, with a score of 147.8, we have Andrea. And just below Andrea, we have, with a score of 145.2 out of 200, Roxanne. Okay, now we're getting down there.
Or less.
Okay, with a score of 141 points out of 200, we have Christina.
I would really prefer not to be eliminated because this is so fun, and I feel like it's just it's a competition for myself to compete with myself and see what I can do.
Now, I hope you guys are all noting these scores are all pretty close to each other. You guys are all really close.
Second one, will you tell me later?
Yeah, I'll tell you later. With a score of 140 points, we have Isaac.
I really just think it's anyone's game, considering that, they could see one thing that maybe even an artist didn't like on their piece and could be their favorite thing about that. And, suddenly somebody comes out with a really high score that they didn't expect. So I honestly think it's just a total, complete toss-up right now.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
All right. With a score of 133 out of 200 points, we have Esther.
Even if I do get eliminated, like, it's still anyone's game. You can still get back in it. So if I get eliminated, no worries.
Unfortunately, Michael, you're our first contestant to be eliminated. You got a score of 119.3.
How was for the hug with the stealing?
I definitely feel like I could have done better, but I think considering the circumstances and my mindset at the time, I think I did the best with what I could do.
So, I'm sorry to say, but you'll have to be turning in your overalls, but you will have a chance to get back on the show at the end of the season. So every single mini challenge really counts from here on out for you, and for everyone really, because I think for everyone it just got real. So this is a competition. There's $25,000 on the line. That's it.
So the mini challenges just keep on adding up.
Yeah, even if you're at the top mark, you could be next on that, you know.
Yeah. One bad pick away. I mean,
so you want to put everybody into those mini challenges because everybody but what 3 people at the end, 2 or 3 or 4.
Everyone but 3 people
at the end will be eliminated. So most of you are going to be eliminated. So work hard for those mini challenges because you want them to accumulate.
And so the next main challenge, Jake, is nothing to do with the scores from now. It's like a
yes, that's a good question.
Points.
From here on out, each main challenge will be scored individually. There'll be no more cumulative main challenges. So, you know, this next main challenge, at the end of this, today you'll be completing your main challenge. And so on Sunday, another person will be eliminated.
I go through the same things all artists go through. You know, we don't know if we're making the right decisions, or what we think is best might not be the best thing, you know. I just stopped caring so much about the outcome and stopped putting all that pressure on myself to like make some amazing work, and just try to enjoy the process and discover something new within myself.